Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea who they were, but I know what they're doing. They're ringing the closing bell, and that means it's time for the Daily Closing Bell Report with Newsmax Finance Deputy Editor Rob Williams. Now, we'll get to Rob in just a second, but first, we bring you the closing numbers, not only for me to speak, but for you to see. And there we are, the Dow down 11 points. To close at 18,214. The NASDAQ up 21 points, bucking the trend today, and moves towards 5,000. It's now 4,988. Its all-time high, by the way, was March 2000, and it was 5,048. S&P down 3 points. And all right, Rob. So welcome back. Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Yeah, another kind of a similar day to yesterday.
Yeah, it's looked pretty flat this whole week, hasn't it? So the only real story today was the NASDAQ rising as tech stocks got a lift. But energy really sold off today.
Yeah, oil back down to about 48 or so?
Yeah, it fell by almost 5% at one point today. So, yeah, investors look worried about the continued growth in supplies. Yesterday it didn't seem to matter so much, but today it really weighed on the sentiment.
Now we had jobless claims numbers, which we get every week,
right.
And they were much higher than expected, 313,000.
Right. Yep.
And that combined, that's the biggest jump since December of 2013.
Right.
So before we get to the other numbers, so that. I would think the market, again, that's good news, bad news, because that might be a signal to Yellen, although it's 1 week, but still, everything, the market reacts short term sometime. And then you also had inflation. Tell me what inflation falling 0.7%. What does that mean exactly as far as Janet Yellen? What is she looking for from inflation?
Well,
before she raises rates.
Right. Yeah, the Federal Reserve has a target for inflation of 2%. A year. That fall that you saw by 0.7%, yeah, that is on a monthly basis in comparison
to the month before, yeah.
Yeah, but it isn't moving in the right direction. A lot of it does.
For her to raise rates.
Yeah, right. So basically, the gasoline prices, we've seen a lot of pressure there, so that weighed on the broader index. And so still, I think she's basically looking for some improvement in the jobs market. So when we see a number like today, is that could weigh on her decision. But that number moves around quite a bit. It's very volatile and seasonal too this time of year. And so I'd hesitate to read too much into it. But
next Friday, though, again, a week from tomorrow, we get jobs numbers again for for this month.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would look at that more closely.
Sure.
And but right now the market does expect a rise in interest rates, but they have pushed it back instead of. Looking at it in June, that's become less likely. Now July, now it's looking like September has a greater possibility.
What is Avago Technologies? Pardon my ignorance. Rose 15% today on quarterly earnings, right?
Yeah, they're a big chip maker. They used to be part of Hewlett Packard, right? Semiconductor chips. Yeah, I know it's not really a household name, but it is a fairly big company. It's got a market value of $33 billion. It rose today on earnings, did very well.
And it makes chips for smartphone companies like Apple, Samsung, LG, and all of those.
Right.
All right, so we'll check in tomorrow. Tomorrow we get GDP. And consumer sentiment.
Yes.
And I could tell you my sentiment every day. You probably know that. All right, Rob Williams, ladies and gentlemen, Newsmax Finance Deputy Editor. And if you want to take control of your financial future, it's very important here. We have a brand new website. And what's the brand new website?
NewsmaxFinance.com.
There you go, NewsmaxFinance.com. That's where you go to check it all. Look at that! I can't creativity. I see that word and I think they must be talking about me. Newsmax.com/finance. Newsmax.com/finance. Give me 5 is next.